Hi, and welcome back to Fair and Friends Friday. I'm Karen Waltuck, the horticulturist at the Beatrix Farrand Garden in Hyde Park, New York. We're located on the grounds of the Home of FDR National Historic Site. In a previous video, we shared a little bit about the restoration of the FDR Home Vegetable Garden. Part of that garden on the grounds here includes a special exhibition space that teaches you a little bit about what you can do in a very small space with recycled materials to grow some vegetables in your own backyard. We're going to get a tour with Al Rubens of the horticultural team to learn a little bit about some creative ways you can grow your own favorite vegetables in your backyard this summer.
Hi, I'm Al. I'm part of the horticultural team at FDR, and this space here is called the Small Space Garden Demonstration Exhibit. And basically what we've set up is designs and systems for home growers so that people can grow their own food or can grow some part of their own food. Maybe you want to grow a favorite pepper or a favorite tomato. So we have kind of like all scale of size. One of the things that I think is most important is that when you are going to do some growing, think of the ergonomics, think of what's going to be comfortable for you so that it doesn't become drudgery, it becomes pleasurable and joyful. So I think I'll walk around and just show the different systems that we have. And we'll start off here with the easiest, and I think I'm gonna call this Just Grow It. So make it really simple. And probably the simplest is to just take a cardboard box and you open it up. So you just set it on the ground, work your soil up a little bit, set it on the ground, and that basically gives you a contained space to grow radishes, lettuce, some herbs. And the box will break down after a season, but it'll hold that shape and it'll get you off the ground. So you're up a little bit higher. You can take a weed whacker and just weed whack right up against the box, so it keeps the ground weeds from coming in. Next step up, I guess, is a shopping bag. These are recycle bags that you get from the grocery store. It's a bit heavy. And these are the type of bags, they're not completely plastic. They're woven. So if you were to hold it up to the sunlight, you'd see like a woven pattern. And that allows the bag actually to breathe. So you can't overwater it, because when you water, any excess water will just go outside the pores of the bag. And it grows really good. So this I've set up pretty much just as, and I'll step back for Karen to get in closer. It's a small garden. There's a pepper in there, a bell pepper, a couple heads of lettuce, some carrots. So you can fill it out with whatever your favorite thing to start with, but it allows you to start easy. You just take a bag, get some potting mix from a nursery, supermarket, and you can start growing vegetables within an hour. Some seeds, plant them, water them. You can set that on concrete. You can set it on a porch. You can set it on a roof. You don't need to be on soil itself. These are other systems. This is all a container setup. So we have plastic buckets, we have grow bags. These are the same as the shopping bag. It's just that they're designed to last at least 10 years. They won't break down from the sun. This isn't going to last more than a year. And grow bags, you can grow any size. I mean, most tree nurseries are growing full-size trees in big grow bags. That way, when it's time to sell a tree, they just come in with a forklift, lift it up, take it to its new home, and they're not digging it up out of the ground. This is the space, just a section that kind of gives you an idea of like, okay, this is a small space, I can handle it. This is tomatillas. And this is what I call a tomatilla crib. They tend to get knocked over by wind and rain. So as they start growing up, I'll just crib them in here with twine and keep them so that they don't get knocked over. This is also a grow bag, rectangular. And if walk through this way and we'll go to even a larger grow bag. This is a 100-gallon grow bag. So again, you could put that on cement, you could put it on a patio, you could put it on a rooftop. And we have artichoke in this, parsley, kale, red kale, another red kale. I have a pepper in here, eggplant, a lot of beet greens. I sowed this really heavy with beet greens. These are really tall sunflower. They'll get up to about 12 feet tall or so. Put in some peas because the peas will grow up the trellis. But again, it's a self-contained unit. You can easily water it, you can weed it, and you're not all the way down in the ground. So you could put this on a lawn, and then you could just weed whack right around to keep the grass from getting growing up alongside the bag. These are just more, again, a sense of contained space. So you box something in. You see a lot of people do this. They'll build a container garden by boxing in with a wood frame a section that they want to grow. This has, the difference is this has a rubber roll roofing on it, which they use for factory roofs. And the advantage of this is I just cut the holes for the size crop, just put the transplant in. It's watered from underneath. There's a irrigation line that runs underneath it, so it automatically waters, and you don't have to do any weeding. And the black plastic itself prevents a lot of the water from the soil evaporating. So it's a nice, easy thing. You could build it up higher if you want. You could wood box it in. But again, it's a contained area without weeding. You're not watering it. So it's all about making vegetable growing very doable for you. This is just a big cardboard box. And all I did with it to just make it a little bit more eye appealing is I just wrap burlap around it. But it's just a big cardboard packing box. And again, the bottom is open, so it's in contact with the soil. And I didn't fill it up completely with the potting soil. About a third of it is just wood chips. You don't need all that much soil. And it gets really expensive and a lot of work to move a lot of soil to fill up a big container. So a third of it is wood chips, and then I put in a compost mix and then a little bit of a potting mix on top. And in here, I'll back off so Karen can get a close-up. There's sunflowers, peas. The peas are going to go up this wattle. I'm starting to learn a little bit about how to wattle green sticks. The red lettuce, a green butterhead lettuce, a big Boston head lettuce. Spinach is in here, cilantro, peppers. I put an eggplant in, nasturtium. Nasturtium blossoms are great, fried, just put fresh onto a salad, and spinach. I'm not sure I mentioned spinach. So again, you're up high off the ground, and you're not bending over, you're not, groveling down on the ground, and you can set it up for automatic watering, but it's a simple, contained space that it's easy enough to water. So this design is called a modified Dutch bucket system. It's not done on a commercial scale. The Dutch bucket system is a commercial scale for hydroponic growing, but this is a soil-based system. So basically, these pots are filled with a good potting mix and a good amount of compost in them. And you can see there's just a net cup right in the very bottom. And so that sits in a rain gutter reservoir, which runs all along the bottom of these pots. So they just have their feet sitting in that water, and the water wicks up from the bottom. So you never have to water these plants, never. And you have to do very little, if any, weeding. I'm coming back towards you again, Karen. We planted these with staggered peppers and eggplant. And then I want to mention that when it rains, any excess water from rain just goes out the bottom. So you don't have to worry about them being overwatered. You never have to worry about watering them. You can go away on vacation for a week, a month. You don't have to worry about a neighbor coming in to look at your garden. And for critters, for rabbits, for any neighborhood pests, you just simply can make a cage to go over them that you can remove easily. Just a cloche that you can harvest, or you can work the plants. And again, not worry about your crops being eaten while you're away. I'm going to just show you how this system waters. So I got a nice long stick so Karen can get close. This is a float valve. It works really similar to a toilet. So when it's calling for water, the water automatically fills that reservoir and keeps that rain getter full. So you don't have to, no timers, you don't have to do anything. You just hook it up to a supply of water, to a garden hose, and when the plants are calling for water, it simply fills up that reservoir and makes sure it's right to the top. And when it's at the top, it stops and shuts off. Oh, we should show the trough. This is just a plastic trough, and I drilled holes 2 inches from the bottom. So they have holes all the way again. So if it rains heavy, the excess water will just flow out. And then you can see at the bottom there's a reservoir. So these are just stones, 2 inches at the bottom, and it always maintains that level of water. So the roots of the plants never dry out. They always have their feet wet. And this is going to be basically a pepper box. So we're going to have hot peppers in here, some orange peppers. I put in some nasturtiums, and I put in some calendula. So you have a mix again. You know, it's a blend of some herbs. There's a volunteer tomato coming up from last year, and these are just some oats I pulled out of the field. They'll come out of there soon. I just gave them a little home for a while, and maybe we'll just have a parting shot of Karen going out and taking the square foot garden box, which was all designed by Mel Bartholomew. And he was the most prolific writer of vegetable know-how and home gardening throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So it's called square foot because it's marked out in grids of 1 square foot. So you focus just on that area. Again, it's raised, you can weed whack against it, it's neat, it's easy to water, and everything becomes doable because you can focus on just a small area.
We hope you enjoyed that tour of the Roosevelt Small Space Gardening exhibit. We'll come back a little later in the season to see how the plants are coming along. And don't forget, if you have a question or suggestion about a topic you'd like us to cover in a future video, please drop us an email at info@BeatrixFarrandGarden, HydePark.org. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next week.